Now I want to invite our real host for today, who is Cindy, who is actually out in Prospect Park. And she is with our other guest, Michael, but she's also going to be interviewing our first guest today, Sandra. So Cindy, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Andrew. And as people ask questions today, please jump in because we may not be able to see them from our end of things. So I'm here. My name is Cindy Vandenbosch, and of course, I'm from Turnstile Tours. I'm here in Prospect Park with my friend Michael Cairl.
Hey, everyone.
So we are here. We're out for a bike ride, and it just so happens that our friend Michael has a bicycle that was made by the nonprofit and the organization that we're featuring on today's program. So not only are we going to have the chance to interview the founder of Adaptability about her work in making adaptive bicycles available to people with disabilities, but we're also going to have the chance to talk to Michael Cairl, who's an accessibility advocate. He's started an accessibility blog recently. So we're going to talk to him about that and also get a chance to see one of these bicycles in action. But without further ado, I would like to invite Sandra Alfonzo to the program. She is the, like I said, the founder of Adaptability. And she's this amazing woman that I met a couple of years ago. Her bicycle shop, she had a bicycle shop in really close to where Andrew and I live. And I was delighted to meet her and just marveled at the fact that she took her bicycle shop and turned it into really a vehicle for accessible cycling and adaptive cycling. And so, Sandra, thank you so much. Sandra's joining us. Can you tell us where you're joining us from today?
Hi, Cindy. How are you? Thank you for having us. And I'm inviting you to my backyard.
Amazing. And I see that you have a couple of bicycles. We're going to talk about your story, but you have a couple of bicycles, some samples of the types of adaptive bicycles that you create for people. Could you show those to us?
Sure. So we have in here today an adaptive bicycle very close to what Michael's going to be using, but for kids. So it's a little bit smaller, but it has almost pedals instead to be using like a hand cycle like Michael. And then we have this one in here that is like an upper position where the kids can be a little bit more in the upper position, helping them more with their torso and their back.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I mean, we're going to get a chance to see, we have some photographs. We'll get to really kind of drill down into the kind of work that you do during this program today. Could you tell us, like, in the first place, I know that your background is as a CPA, but that you decided about 15 years ago to open your own bike repair shop. Can you tell us how you came to do that? And I know we have some pictures as well of the bike repair shop.
Sure, it's my pleasure. Thank you. Like, once again, thank you for having me. And yes, I graduated and I have a degree in accounting. And by working in a bicycle store, doing accounting, I just got this passion about bicycle. In one of the summers that I was working there, I met a gentleman. His name was Joshua, and he came over to purchase a bicycle. He wants to use the bicycle to lose weight, and that was the purpose of him. He was going to get married, and he was an arranged marriage, and it was very, very important for him to look good that day of his wedding. And he came to the store just to purchase a bicycle. And I had never sold a bicycle before. Like I said before, I was doing accounting. So it was for me like an adventure to help him. So one of the things that he says that he had a budget of $200. So I said, this will help me to get him the perfect bicycle and to help him to get, you know, what he can afford. And that's what we did. And he purchased a bicycle and he left. And a week before his wedding, he came back to show how much weight he had lost. And after that, my obsession with bicycles became incredible. All that I can think is how we can help people to change their life, not only to lose weight, to get help with diabetes, them being somebody with diabetic, helping to get healthy so they can the sugar can go down? What about the pressure? You know, all these different kind of things. So I became obsessed, and I wanted to know how bicycles were put together, how bicycles can be exchanged and can be accessorized and help people to their need. And that's how everything started. I wanted to become a mechanic so I can know how the bicycle works, so I can really explain people how to use their gears, so they can really take the best of the bicycle if they were going to lose weight, or if they want to become a racer, how can they become better on the bicycle? And everything just became so much, and I just didn't want to do accounting anymore. All that I wanted to do is just work with bicycles. And 6 years ago, I decided to open my own store. And I wanted just to do only repairs, because not only we can help people, we can help the environment. So if we recycle what we have and we just fix what we have, we will not have that much garbage. So I decided just to fix bicycles, and that's how.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I know we can hear some wind chimes. Are those wind chimes near you?
Can I change it? Can I take them?
Or you could put your phone closer to you.
Yeah,
So that
move them in 1 second. Yeah.
okay. Andrew, in the meantime, you're in the background there. If you could pull up a photo so we can actually see her bike shop, her bike repair shop.
Sorry.
There we go. Oh, no worries at all. That's the fun of live programs. You never know what's going to happen. So here we have your storefront. And can you tell us exactly where this was? I know it's very close to us, but it was on 19th Street. Is that right?
17.
Oh, 17.
Yeah,
okay.
It was very funny. I took off from the place that I was working at, and one day next to the store, it was a bagel shop, or it's still a bagel shop located. And one day I just stopped on my bike to just grab a cup of coffee, and I just sat in there, and I just started looking how many people were going back and forth, because it was a bicycle lane in front of the place. And I just start counting, and I think that in 2 hours I'll count 250 or 350 people just passing by. And that's how I decided. I called the real estate and I said to them, I'm renting the place. And that's how everything started. He says, but you haven't even seen it. I said, I don't care. I'm renting it.
So this was 5th Avenue and 17th Street, and we're seeing the inside of the shop as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so how did you go from having this bicycle repair shop to starting Adaptability? Like, how did the nonprofit with adaptive bicycles come into play?
So in our store, it was called Behind Bars in Brooklyn, and everything that we did was just repairs. So we had accessories and parts, and all that we did was repairs. And 2 years being working in the store, I am a marathon runner, and I went to Prospect Park to train for the marathon that I was doing. And because I used to run in the opposite direction just to get the big hill going up, I saw a child that was coming down with his father for the first time without training wheels on his bicycle. But what caught my eye was a child on a wheelchair. He was coming at the same time that the child was coming on the bicycle. And the child in the bicycle, he was screaming, Daddy, look how fast I'm going. But my reaction was more about how the child in the wheelchair was looking at the child on the bicycle. And it broke my heart. I just couldn't even finish up the hill because I was already crying. I was so emotional. Just to see how I saw in his eyes how he can see himself just being on that bicycle. And once again, it became an obsession for me to see how we can change the life of these kids and give them the opportunity to feel the freedom of riding a bicycle.
That is so, it's really great. I mean, the fact that you realized you could take your skills, your bicycle repair skills, and had this aha moment where you could use those skills in order to adapt bicycles to people's needs. It's absolutely wonderful. So, I mean, in terms of like how you've adapted bicycles, let's look at some practical examples. I think on the next slide, we have an example here of, this is outside your storefront. So this is a family. Could you tell us a little bit about what's going on with this bicycle specifically?
So we always did since the beginning. We always did some kind of adaptation to bicycles. People will come with a child that maybe the bicycle was a little bit too big and you had to put blocks on the pedal. So we always did a little bit to adapt to the bicycles. And after I decided to start adaptability, like you see, we use our windows to promote it. And once people start looking at our windows and see what we were trying to do, we start getting all these families with all these little things that children will need. And right here, we are showing, this is the perfect example that the child just need a little bit of support in his torso. He needed to feel secure. So the three-wheelers will help him to feel secure. And having the straps on him, it allows him not to fall off of the bicycle, so he can get the mobility that he needs on his legs, because he has cerebral palsy. So the movement on the legs will help him. In this slide that we have here is a perfect example of all the things that we can adapt to a bicycle. This bicycle has a basket that will help carry an oxygen tank to the person that was going to use this bicycle, the child that was going to use this bicycle. So what we do is, when we get the measurements of the child, some of the parts come already. We use a platform from a company, and some of the parts we kind of adapted to whatever the size it is needed. Like sometimes we have to raise the seats, we have to adapt, parts of the bicycle to make it higher or lower. In this one, the bicycle came with the basket, but in our next slide, you're gonna see that we, using just a regular delivery basket, we can adapt it to another family, and the cost is completely different. It's not even 1/10 of what other basket cost. And the family can do the same thing using just this regular basket that anybody can purchase in any bike store. They can use it to carry the oxygen tank that is needed for this child to go on a bike ride.
I mean, Sandra, it's just so creative, because I mean, certainly you can buy bicycles that have baskets attached to them, but essentially what you're saying is that these components, especially if they're custom built, can be very expensive for families or for people that need adaptive bicycles. And you've been able to kind of come up with these creative solutions that are low cost and really practical.
Exactly. An adaptive bicycle, the minimum that you will pay for an adaptive bicycle, there are companies starting like at $1,500. And if you get a bicycle like the one that you saw with the basket that we showed before, that bicycle was $8,000. So you can imagine that just adapting and using things that we have at lower cost, we can still get the same adaptation on the bicycle, and the person can use it with less money.
Yeah, and as you were getting, so here we have, is that this kind of
yeah, this
is
is
in action?
This is exactly Lucy, and we just went with her to see how the basket was working, to be sure that everything fit on the bicycle and that she was comfortable, because if you can see, she has the cord that is being used for the oxygen, so the hose. So we adapted and we put it nicely underneath so she doesn't get cut, so when she's moving her legs, the oxygen doesn't get on the way.
Right. I mean, so Sandra, I know that as you were getting this organization started, you were imagining that you would raise funding in order to give bicycles to children with disabilities or to people with disabilities, and that's part of what you're continuing to do. But you're also now kind of expanding that business model, right?
That's correct. Yeah, this year it's been a little bit kind of weird kind of year because of COVID, But last year in December, we decided to close our store behind bars and donate all our inventory, all our tools to adaptability, because we want adaptability to be there for the community. So we are soon getting to a new location where we're gonna have a workshop. We will continue doing repairs to our customers, but the nice thing about that is that every repair that we do to a regular customer, that money will be given to adaptability to help families get bicycles ready for the kids with special needs and adults with disability. Something else that we're gonna be having is we're gonna be offering rentals. Not every family can have an adapted bicycle due to the space. Families live in apartments, they live on the third floor, and because of the tricycle, the weight and the size of the bicycle is a little bit overweight. So we are offering free rentals in the park. They do need to fill up an application, but there will be free rentals so the kids can get the mobility that they need. So all these will be coming soon, hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
That's great. I mean, I can really see, especially with New York apartments, not everybody has storage, but to still be able to access the bicycles and ride them in the parks in the city is great. So we have a few other examples of the kinds of projects you've done. I know there's some adaptation of pedals that you've done here. Can you talk to us about this and the sort of innovation behind it?
Sure. So this bicycle belonged to somebody and just came to us because it had just regular pedals, but the child could not pedal. So it was adapted to use a hand cycle. So what we did, we removed the crank and the pedals, and we just only put a platform so the child can just put their feet in there and then use the hand cycle. So use his torso and his arms to move, and he continue having the therapy, but it will only be on the upper part of the body just because he couldn't use his bottom part.
And so this is the actual work behind the scenes that goes into it. Can you tell us what we're seeing here?
So what we do is we use a platform from a company. They have these, we can call it like maybe like a toe clip or platform, and what they do, they sell them in different sizes, and what we do is we customize it. We take the shape of the foot of the child and we customize it so it's just perfect. Some of the kids has a little bit tilt, or some of them has feet. Some feet can be bigger, one foot can be bigger than the other. So what we do is we just customize it so the foot is perfect. So when we put the straps, it's locked in there so they can have more pedal power.
Oh, that's great. That's so creative. And here is an example. The next couple of images we have here are of the very first bicycle that you worked on for an adult. Could you tell us a little bit about this project?
So sure. So George, as you can see here, it's a customer that really inspired me when he gave his bicycle to a friend, his regular bicycle, and he promised me that one day he will be riding that bicycle again. So right now, because of George's condition, he cannot ride, but we wanted George to continue being having mobility, and we didn't want George just to completely stay without doing any kind of exercise. So we got this donation. This is a hand cycle that was donated to us. So what we did was we extended the length of the legs so George can use it, because George has barely mobility on his legs, and his legs cannot be bent, because when his legs are bent with a period of time, he can extend them. So what we did was, for him to be more comfortable, we extended the length of the legs so he can have them. As you can see it here, he has the legs completely extended, and he's using the hand cycle. So he's using his upper body just to pedal.
Okay, and then we have one last example here of a more recent project that you've been working on. Can you tell us how this is an example of how you're adapting and customizing to a particular person's needs?
So in here we have a family that has a trailer. A trailer, it's a little car that goes behind a bicycle when somebody is pedaling. So what we're doing to it, the child has completely no mobility, but the family wants to take him to places, and it's really, really hard for them to take it on the wheelchair. So they bought this trailer, and what we are doing is we are creating a fork in the front of the trailer that will allow the parents to go with him mountain biking and in a little bit rougher surface. What was happening, they had a very, very small wheel in the front, so they couldn't go different places. So we are creating a new fork using just a regular wheel from a 16-inch bicycle, and we're just gonna adapt it to the front of the trailer so it can be almost like a jogger stroller, but it's much bigger because the child is already, well, it's not a child, it's almost an adult. It's 17 years old, but he's a little bit smaller. He's still fit in a trailer, so they can go apple picking and doing all these things.
So I think the next slide is going to give us a broader view here. And if you could sort of describe how that applies to what we're seeing here.
So this is Allegra. We donated Allegra this amazing adaptive bicycle. Allegra's bicycle has something that is a ratchet fork. What it does for Allegra, it's lift the front of the fork. So the front of the bicycle is much higher than the back. Allegra's torso, it's a little bit weak. So we need Allegra to always be a little bit back. Even with the straps, the tendency is to go forward. So thanks to this fork, we will be, when the fork goes up, it will be pushing Allegra a little bit back, so she will always be in a comfortable position. And this is exactly that we are doing to the trailer, just it will not have a ratchet because there's no need to put it down or lower, but the fork will be in an upper position, so the child will always be back, so they will be more comfortable on when they're using the trailer.
So it's a similar concept, but the trailer is obviously a separate project. So Sandra, if you can move your screen just a little bit closer to you so we get the sound closer,
Okay.
that would be great. Thank you so much. So before we see Michael kind of go live with one of these bicycles, we have some great images here of how your organization has really picked up in the last year or so. And here you are at a school. Was this in Brooklyn, or where was this at, and what were you doing here?
Yes, this school is in Carroll. We went there to fix, in the school, they have bicycles. They were trying to have a program where they teach kids to ride bicycles. They purchased a bicycle, but the program never went anywhere, or only some of the kids learned how to ride. So we went there to adapt and fix the bicycles so the children can use it, and they can adapt this program back to the curriculum, and the kids can learn how to ride the bikes.
Oh, that's great. And in this next one, you actually received an award from the Yankees. Is that right?
Yeah.
So what happened there? This was last year, right?
Yeah, this was in June of 2019. We were so grateful. We were nominated on Hope Week. And one of the things that I did ask the Yankees is, instead to nominate adaptability, just nominate every child that we have given a bicycle, and they accepted. So not only they came to our store and met the community, because the whole community was there, they took all the kids and all the bicycles to the Yankee Stadium for the game. And they allowed the kids, it was the first time that the kids had the opportunity, some of them first time to be in the Yankee Stadium, but they had the opportunity to ride their bicycles in the Yankee Stadium. It was an unbelievable night. We had a great time.
And we'll see here, there's another photo from that
Yes.
where you're getting the big check, which is exciting.
Yeah. So this day we donated the child in the middle of the picture. His name is Kiko. He is partially blind, and we were donating this bicycle to Kiko. The bicycle is a tandem. So if you can see, I'm sitting in the back and Kiko is sitting in the front. Kiko can ride the bicycle. He will be pedaling, but he will not having the control of the front of the bicycle. His father or whoever is riding the bicycle with him will have the control of the gears and the brakes. But because Kiko is in the front, he will still have the freedom and the independence and feel what it is to ride a bicycle.
Oh, I love that. I don't know if you knew this, but I for 4 years taught and worked with all the kids in Brooklyn in elementary school who are blind or have low vision, and getting them out to do adaptive sports is so great. And so it's really neat to hear about that.
Yeah.
For me personally, and I hope for the audience as well. So now it's COVID times. You know, we've looked at a lot of pictures where people haven't been wearing masks, and here we are. We have a family, and they're all wearing masks, and this is more recent. And so share with us what's going on here with the bicycle. And also, I know you've been in touch with some of the families that you've designed bicycles for, to kind of check in with them and see how things are going during COVID. So it'd be great to get an update on that front as well.
Sure. So after we closed the store in December 2019, we went cross country. We decided that if in New York State we have schools and places where people did not know about adaptive bicycles, we can imagine what was happening around the country. So we decided to go cross country. We were donating a bicycle to a family in California. This family had contacted us, and we had raised money, and we had decided to instead to ship the bicycle over there and just let them get on it on their own. We wanted to be there. Every time that we give a bicycle, we make it a celebration. We invite the community to be there and celebrate that this child is part of the cycling community. So we wanted to do the same thing. So what we did was we traveled from New York to California. We stopped in 5 states. We went to 5 different schools. And we create awareness about how adaptive bicycles can change the life of kids with special needs. And so after we came back, this child, JC, has been waiting for his bicycle, and he's been like super patient because due to COVID-19, everything was closed, so we couldn't get his bicycle. But finally this summer he gets his bicycle, and his mother just emailed me yesterday telling me that he's riding his bicycle everywhere. And that's something that we do with our organization. These families are not alone. We help them with all the resources that we can, in anything that we can help them. And if not, we look the way to find them help and in anything that they need, so the child can feel as normal as they can. So every family that we have helped, it just become family. So,
yeah, and I mean, one thing I'm not sure that we've discussed is that when you're working on some of these bigger projects, you in some cases consult with not just family members, but also if they have a physical therapist or specific feedback from the doctor to kind of help you adjust the bicycle in the way that it's most needed.
that's correct. The first thing that we do is we interview the parents. We wanted to know how much the parents knew about what an adaptive bicycle is, what an adaptive bicycle can do for them. And then we interview the physical therapists, the teachers at school. If we can talk to the doctors, we do all that. So we can make it as comfortable to the child as we can.
That's great. And we just have, I think, this is one of the last photos here, but this is a young gentleman here in Prospect Park riding a bicycle, and this is part of your new program to kind of free rentals, you could say, of your bicycles, so that people that maybe don't have them in their own apartments, they can try them out, or they can come out and enjoy the fresh air.
So this year we were lucky enough to get a grant from Christopher and Dana Reeve, and the money is being used to purchase adapted bicycles to bring them to the park so children and adults with disabilities can come and rent them for free. And in here in this picture, we are showing our first rental. We had it to start the program a little bit later just due to COVID-19, but he has the bicycle for almost a month, and already he has learned how to do left, right, how to use the gears, how to stop, how to go fast, how to go slow, how to listen to people. So the parents are extremely excited because it was very hard for him to focus. So with the bicycle, not only he is getting mobility, he's learning how to listen and how to do things that it was very hard for them to teach him.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I think we have just one last photo before we come live. So this shows sort of a sampling of so many of the young people that you've sort of worked with the families and worked on their bicycles. And I think in terms of how people can support you or how they can get involved, you are now expanding your organization. Pretty soon you're going to be opening up a new space. Is that right?
Yes.
And so in that new space, will this be a place that people can come to in order to have their bicycles adapted, or how can people continue to interact with and support the organization?
So it will be different ways that they can support us. They can bring the bicycles to be repaired. That's like the best thing. Every repair that we do, all the money will be used for create adapted bicycles and adapted things for children. Another thing, we will be offering mechanic classes. So people that want to learn how to fix their own bicycles, we will be offering those classes this winter. We will be looking for volunteers. So people, retired people, or anybody that has extra time and would like to help us with anything, and they can bring their expertise and teach us and help us just creating new things to help just create these bicycles or create parts for the bicycles. They're welcome. We're going to be creating harnesses for the bicycles. So we're going to need people that like to sew. So we were going to have machines and people can come and help us to sew harnesses. We want to create colorful and very attractive harnesses so kids wanted to use them. So this is one of the things that we're going to be doing. And so our doors will be open soon. We want to announce our location, and everybody is welcome to come and donate their time. They can donate through our website. They can donate their old bicycles. We will be repairing bicycles, and every week, one day of the week, we will have repair bicycles for sale. So if you're looking for a used bicycle, we will have bicycles for repairs, with bicycles that we repair for sale. And the last thing, donate your kids' bicycles. We will fix them, and they will free for other parents to get, completely free for the child. So stay tuned in our website and in our social media.
That is great. Thank you so much, Sandra. So thank you so much for taking the time to share your story at Adaptability. And now I'm here in Prospect Park with Michael Cairl. And so in just a second here, I'm going to turn the camera over and we're going to interview Michael, if that sounds good.
Go, Michael. We are proud of you.
Okay, bear with us for just a second here. So this is Michael Cairl.
Hey, everyone.
So Michael, it just so happens, you know, we've known you at Turnstile Tours going back about 12 years when we first launched bicycle tours at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. You used to be a bicycle sweep with us.
Yeah.
And so that's how we initially met. But can you tell us a little bit about your background with cycling, love of cycling, and how you ended up with one of Sandra's bicycles?
Oh, well, I'll try to keep it brief, but I've been a cyclist since I was 7 years old, and I've had a medium to bad fall off of every bike I've ever had, but I never stopped cycling. And I've ridden a couple of century rides. In 2000, I rode the Boston to New York AIDS ride, which was 275 miles in 3 days.
Wow.
I've ridden different places in this country and in Canada and in Italy and Ireland. There's no better place to see where you are, especially in New York City. You get a whole different perspective of the city from being on top of a bike. Not only the height that you're at, but just the speed that you're seeing it. And I've really been fortunate to take in a great deal of the city, just from biking around it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel the same way. I did like a 12-mile ride the other day through Manhattan down to Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah.
Just seeing the city in that way.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have been involved for many years with the Brooklyn Greenway initiative as well, right?
Yeah, I've been involved with them since 2003, first as a volunteer, and from 2013 to 19, I was board chair. I'm still on the board of directors. It's been great to see that organization become such a vital resource for so many people who live along the Greenway. And it's not just for transportation, but it connects people to the waterfront, and it's a recreational exercise thing. One of our co-founders, Milton Courier, put it so well when he said, the Greenway increases your heart rate and reduces your stress rate. And I can't think of a better testimonial to the Greenway than that.
Absolutely. And I think, most Brooklynites are familiar with the Brooklyn Greenway as this bicycle and pedestrian path and best pocket parks that are all along the waterfront. But for folks that are up, we have another person bicycling here. It looks like an adaptive bicycle. Yes, for folks at home that maybe aren't familiar with that, is it 14 miles long along the waterfront?
Well, it's 14 miles from Greenpoint to Bay Ridge. But the full length, which goes out along the Bell Parkway and then down to Rockaway, is about 30.
Wow, that's incredible. And so the bicycle that you have here, I'm going to pan out for just a second so people can see you on your bicycle in full view. So you have this adaptive bicycle. How did you come to get this bicycle? And then also in recent years, you've become somewhat of an accessibility advocate and now a blogger. So could you speak to that?
Sure. Well, in late 2018, I had a stroke that affected my left side, and I had to learn how to walk all over again. But I was connected with Sandra by a good friend of mine, Lori Schindler. She and her husband run the Park Slope Day Camp. And because Lori knows how much cycling is a part of my life, and she got Sandra and me together, and this beast is the result. And it's been absolutely great to get out and exercise arms and legs. And I've gone as far as 5.25 miles on this, using bike lanes where I can, but in streets sometimes. And it's great for the body. It's great for the soul. And it speaks to the importance of accessibility, in that there's a different expectation of people with disabilities. We're not expected to stay at home and just putter around. We're expected to be fully able parts of society. And I can confidently say we. I think I'm just temporarily disabled, but but here I am, and it's all about smart design and smart actions in so many respects, enabling people in all circumstances to be fully functioning and happy members of society.
Yeah.
And that's what it means to me. And I've been able to pivot my professional and volunteer life toward accessibility. It's really the synthesis of everything I've done. I've worked for many years on transportation projects, this really combines everything. My work background, working at Greenway, a lot of other things, into something that really, really matters to me right now.
That's great. And you now have a blog. I know we dropped that into the chat, but could you tell us about the blog?
Yeah, earlier this summer, I decided to go out to Fort Tilden, Rockaway. I hadn't been there since before the stroke, but I really wanted to see if I could tackle the stairs going up to this viewing platform at Battery Harris. And so I walked about a mile from the bus stop and looked at the stairs, and yeah, I can do this. It was 69 steps and made it up, and felt really good. As I was on the bus going home, I figured next up would be the stair street on West 215th Street in Upper Manhattan. So a couple of weeks later, I rode up there, and I took the subway up there, but 110 steps, and made it up. Didn't feel winded at all. And I was telling a neighbor of mine, whom you met earlier today, Cindy, about this. He said, "You should start a blog." And well, funny you should say that, because I've got this domain I haven't used, so let me do that. And so it's called onfootonwheels.squarespace.com, and I'm putting on there walks on stair streets as I do them, and some other walks and bike rides around town, and it's all getting people to not only think but do travels around town on foot and on wheels, especially those with disabilities. You need not stay home.
That's great. I mean, I'm thinking about that climb at 215th Street. I've done that myself. Yeah. That's tough for anybody.
An able friend of mine who grew up near there said, "I wouldn't do that when I was young."
Well, now we're going to see like the bicycle in action. I'm going to get a long view here, so I'm going to walk folks in this direction. And Andrew, as I'm doing that, do we have any questions from the audience? Because Michael's basically going to take us out, and we're going to see the bicycle kind of here in action. If we have any questions, now's the time. Otherwise, all right. There we go. All right, so thank you everyone for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed learning about adaptability. Sandra, if you're still there, can you jump back on the screen? I don't know if she's still here. It's okay. So I would just like to thank Sandra Alfonzo for joining us today. Thank her for her creativity and leadership in creating these adaptive bicycles and working with the bicycles people already have to adapt them in affordable ways, sharing her skills. And to Michael Cairl for joining us to share his bicycle, his blog, and definitely, so, oh, and Sandra is on. Great. Sandra, is there anything else you would like to share before we wrap up?
Well, I wanted to say thank you for the opportunity of sharing our program with you, and to let you know that we do have a documentary coming out. It's called On Three Wheels. So people should be looking into it. It will be posting it in our website, and people should look into that.
Okay, great. And your website, if you can read that out to us one more time.
It is adaptabilitybike.org.
And then we have Michael's website, which is onfootonwheels.squarespace.com, to read about his travels across the city. Thanks so much, everybody. Our next program on Monday, we're going to be cooking Northern and Southern Thai cuisine with chefs in both Chicago and New York City. So we hope you'll join us live for that. And then on Friday, we're going to be live at the Brooklyn Army Terminal for Manufacturing Day, learning all about PPE manufacturers and other types of manufacturers that are based there. So thank you so much, Sandra, and have a great day.
Thank you.